Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, I just want to sit down and talk through a few things which have been called out online recently and some ongoing problems or problematic things within the skincare community. This video isn't intended to call anyone out, and actually I've been guilty of a lot of these things either in the past or in some cases still am. And I think it's all things we can kind of look at, reflect on and kind of change. The last thing I would want is for people to feel marginalised or to feel that the skincare community is in any way toxic or any of that, and I don't think we're at that stage. And so by nipping a few things in the bud and maybe changing some of the practices and things that we see, hopefully we can change that narrative and just make sure everyone feels as included as possible and that this is the best community out there on YouTube. And that is something I'm absolutely passionate about. So in this video, there'll be no calling out, there'll be no naming, no shaming. This is just designed to explore some of the ongoing themes and things that people have called out and how I'm going to look at things from my own perspective to just drive things forward. So sit back, relax, and let's talk the skincare community. Now, I've been in the skincare community for a relatively short period of time. This channel's been going for 18 months, which actually in itself is mind-blowing when I think of, it seems like only yesterday that I set things up. We also have a Facebook group, which is Mad About Skin. Again, I'll leave a link to it below if you do want to check it out. And over on that Facebook group, I've just been so overwhelmed with the amount of positivity and the great engagement that people have. But I have noticed that some people call some things out, which maybe we do either as skincare influencers here on YouTube or just the way we respond to things in the wider skincare community, and that's kind of what I want to sit down and talk about today. I've got a fair amount to get through and I don't want this video to run to like 2 hours long, so I'm going to cut the waffle and jump straight on in. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is shaming expensive products. Now, you guys know I am drugstore to my core. I am so cheap you wouldn't believe. Like, it's a running joke in my family just how cheap I am. You know, if there is a sale on, I'm there and I'm stocking up my basket. If there is a half price product, I'm there, I'm buying it because I love a good bargain. I also am passionate that skincare doesn't need to cost the earth. You know, you don't need to be spending a fortune on your skincare routine because actually you can get some really great results from drugstore and affordable products. However, in some ways, I think this has kind of been altered, and that narrative across the whole skincare community has kind of changed a little bit. And now people are almost calling out and shaming people that choose to use expensive products. I always say, you do you. And if you find a product that works really well for you, go with it. It doesn't matter what anyone else says, what anyone else's opinion, mine or anyone else's is. If you enjoy a product, keep on using it because the most important thing is it's working for you and you enjoy using the product. I think we all in our lives, budget permitting, need a little bit of luxury. You know what? It's been a difficult 18 months. If you look back to everything that's gone on, it's been a difficult 18 months. And if you want to splurge on a bit of a luxury product, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I really don't think people should feel embarrassed or ashamed to be spending a little bit extra. Maybe you're not getting any extra benefit from that product. Who cares? If you like the scent, if you like the product, I was liking this to my Rose by Any Other Name body cleanser by Aesop. This is my go-to body wash that I've been using for the past 3 years. It's bougie, it's extra, I love the scent. I could literally walk down to, you know, Boots, our drugstore, you could go to Walgreens, do anything and just buy an off-the-counter body wash and it would do just the same thing. But somehow I always spend that bougie extra money on that Aesop body wash. It's because I love the smell. It picks me up, it makes me feel fantastic. And so I think, you know, I want to continue to promote drugstore and affordable skincare because that's where I think the benefit lies, and I think it's fantastic that we have those options. But I'm going to be a little bit more mindful about not demonizing or not, you know, talking down to luxury options, because if they work for you, if you enjoy that little bit of splurge and it's your treat, you go for it. And sometimes we see those, you know, and I might have done this in the past as well, so I'm not excusing myself from this. You see people with the pearl clutching, the duck face, when, you know, people talk about liking a La Mer product or liking to spend a little bit extra on X product. None of that needs to happen. You do you and enjoy what you enjoy. This kind of then moves on to another thing I've seen quite a lot of, and this isn't just content creators here on YouTube, Instagram, and the wider blogosphere, but also in the comments and, you know, skincare community as a whole. And that's unsolicited advice. And this usually is prefaced with the lines, well, actually. And this is like the most passive aggressive thing going. And I read some comments and someone might be sharing on the bottom of a video, you know, I absolutely love this product, it works so well for my skin. And then someone will come in and say, well, actually, that contains parabens. And you're like, what? They didn't ask for your advice. They don't want your advice. Nobody cares about your advice. Or why are we saying it in a passive aggressive way? Sharing something beneficial like, this product didn't work for my skin, but then I'm super oily, so perhaps it works better for drier skin people. I think is great. That's a really great narrative, and that's a really great thing to help. And I totally welcome feedback on all of that. It's just sometimes we say, and we do it as content creators as well, that it has to be like, and I say, well, actually, that product. And it's just the way it's said, I think, can be quite demonizing to the people that use it. Again, if it works for you, use it. And there's no absolute when it comes to that. But if people don't ask for your advice, why are we dishing it out? And this is something I have an issue with a little bit when it comes to reaction videos. I've always talked about, I used to do these, so I'm not exempting myself from any of this. I used to do skincare reaction videos on this channel. For those of you, drop me a comment below if you remember my skincare reaction content when I very first started this channel. I was never very good at it, to be honest. And I did it, and I did the same thing where, you react to somebody and you say this and the other and comment on their skincare routine. And I stopped doing it, A, because I wasn't very good at it. B, they never got as many views as I thought they were going to. I thought it was going to be like, the recipe for success, because it was such a huge thing online, and they never were, because it wasn't very authentic content from me. I stopped doing them. However, the more I look into them, the more I think, actually, what you're doing is calling out someone's routine, which I've already covered. This been a bit problematic when I talked about skincare shaming, which I'm going to leave a link to a video up there. But also, it's kind of giving unsolicited advice. That person shared their face, their best skin to the world, which in itself, I would never have done like 5 years ago when my acne was quite bad. And so I have full props to anybody, even, the worst routines out there. If you dare to go on TV or go on Instagram or wherever and show your best skin, I think, props to you, and I applaud that. And they share a routine which works for them. And then people call it out. And I'm like, they didn't ask for that advice. They don't want that advice. It's not like, you wrote to them and said, oh, shall we do a little bit of a collab where we can critique each other's skincare routines? It's just like, I'm giving you this advice. Really? So I think that, maybe that's one thing I would like to change. I used to do these and mine were terrible. I actually deleted them. I can't really in good conscience keep these up, so I deleted them. But if you do want to see, one of my reaction videos just for a laugh and a cringe, drop me an email to the email that's in the description box, and I'll share it with you if you do just want a laugh and a cringe. Now let's talk absolutes. I kind of referenced it a little bit in the past bit that I talked about, but absolutes are where it's either right or wrong. There's kind of no middle ground, and I think this is something that is happening globally, not just in skincare, but if you look at politics, if you look at current events, all of that is kind of right or wrong, and there's kind of no middle ground. And I feel that we do get into, and I have been as guilty as this in the past as anybody else, so I'm certainly not exempting myself from any criticism on this, that there's the absolutes. There's either the right or the wrong. And this often boils down to fragrance is a huge, this is a huge ongoing thing in the skincare community. Fragrance is bad, end of. And people say, I like fragrance, it's good, end of. There is no, you have to work out what's right for your skin type. I know so many of the subscribers to this channel would go nowhere near fragrance because they have inbuilt skin sensitivity, and I would totally support that. I think that's a great choice of something to limit in your skincare routine. But for people like me that have literally zero sensitivity in their skin and like the sensorial, fragrance is absolutely fine. The same goes for essential oils. You have people that are saying literally you can cure any single issue in your skin with an essential oil. You can't. To other people that say if you go anywhere near your skin with essential oils, you are literally tearing apart your skin barrier and ruining your skin. You're not. Obviously, they can trigger sensitivity, and that's always something to be mindful of. But people can enjoy them in their skincare routine without feeling demonized because they're doing it. And I think if I look back to examples, I was never anti-fragrance. I was never anti-essential oils and all of that. I kind of think they've always been like middle grounds for me of I like to limit my exposure to them, but I actually really enjoy them. And the couple of things that I have called out, I called out previously parabens and kind of reducing the amount in skincare. And I look back and think that could have been seen as saying they're bad. They're not. I think there's perfectly legitimate concerns around them and it needs more investigating, but on the whole, absolutely safe, and lots of more scientific studies have shown them to be safe than not. And so we all need to kind of make our own decision on that. And maybe if I look back, I was a little bit, let's try and stay away from them. And that's just not the case. And that's not something, the video I referenced that in, I actually removed because I didn't want that false information to be out there. And also cruelty-free. So something I try in my routine to be entirely cruelty-free. I like to promote products that are entirely cruelty-free. cruelty-free, but I don't expect everybody to have that same ethos when it comes to buying skincare. You do you. Everyone's got their own budget, price point, ethics, all of that, and you need to apply all of that to your own skincare purchasing decisions. And I look back to some of the previous content, and I would have never have wanted it to be like, this is the right way. Cruelty-free is the right way. There is no exception. For me, it is. This is the right way. This is the way I go with my skincare routine, but it's absolutely perfectly fine if that isn't the same direction you want to take your own skincare routine in. Hopefully this channel will be able to show you some really great cruelty-free options, and people will want to evolve their skincare routine over time. But there is no right and wrong here, and this is something maybe I want to reflect on whilst I'm still going to be promoting cruelty-free products on the channel. I think there's a way we can do that without obviously demonizing people that choose not to, and that's something I'll personally be a little bit mindful. Then finally, we're going to come on to the issue of filters. So this has been called out a lot online about skincare content creators using filters. I've done this in the past. I don't use a filter day to day. This is literally me. You can see bits of dust and cat hair flying all over. There ain't no filter going on in this video. And I've never used filters in videos because A, I don't have the technical expertise to do that. B, I actually don't think they're necessary, and I think they all look a bit weird. Everyone kind of looks a bit spooky and weird when they have a filter going. Even on those Snapchat filters, when people used to have like butterflies flying around the head, hated that. Why are we doing that? So I was never great at them, and I never really liked them. But a bit of Photoshop and things like that, and I look back and think, actually, yeah, when you were doing like before and afters, or you were sharing, experiences or close-ups, and they had a filter on or a bit of Photoshop, even if it's just taking away that offending pimple because you're embarrassed by it, not because you think it's detrimental to the video or anything, actually, that's not great. And you see it an awful lot, and it's been called out, rightly so, online. And so whilst I never did it, I used to do it a lot more previously, I kind of haven't done it for quite a while. I'm going to make sure that is stamped out, because filters in video, what is that all about? What is that? If you're talking about skincare, I kind of feel you should see the skin warts and all. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to put on a little bit of concealer if I've got the world's biggest whitehead, because nobody wants that staring right at you. But, I think that's kind of a realistic day-to-day. People would put concealer on, but they wouldn't walk around with butterflies around the head with a full filter on. It ain't gonna happen. And so I think we can address that. I know a lot of people have changed their approach to this. You can see it. You can see it in the skincare and the beauty community. You don't see as many filters being used in videos. You don't see them as doctored in terms of the the thumbnails of videos. I still do like to apply a lot. It just makes myself feel a bit better. A little bit of Photoshop with your thumbnail, but what you see within the video is it's authentic. And I kind of think I'm going to start phasing that out, because actually I think people like authenticity, and do you know what? The zit in a thumbnail isn't going to stop someone watching the video. So I'm going to readdress that and kind of look at that and how we can kind of take out filters and just be a bit more authentic, because ultimately we're talking about skin. I think we should see the skin, if that makes sense. That's just my soapbox. I'm standing off it now. I've shared my thoughts and feelings. I'd love to know below what your thoughts and feelings are in terms of some of the things that we can change to just make everything that little bit more amazing. If you do want to see a fantastic community of people that just support, build up and empower people, go over and check the link to the Facebook group, where honestly it's the nicest group of people you've ever met, and everyone is just there to support. There's no judgment, and if there is, if ever that creeps through, we don't tolerate that over on the site. It's just all about empowering people and just having a fantastic skincare journey. So definitely recommend you check that out if you haven't already. And this isn't aimed, as I said at the start, aimed at naming, shaming, or directing at any individuals, because as I've given examples throughout of this video, I've been guilty of all of these things. So I'm not saying I'm good, I'm all good. This is to other people. This is definitely something that hopefully I've already tried to phase out, but it's definitely something which I have been guilty of in the past. And I think we can all change, evolve, and just be the better versions of ourselves and help everyone else on the skincare journey. So wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.